What's up, everybody? This is Brian, the Toyota guy over here at Fred Anderson Toyota of Asheville, and today I just wanted to show you just kind of a quick little video of what seems to be, for me this month, the most popular vehicle I'm selling, and that is the RAV4s. I think I've had 3 or 4 just out in the last few weeks, so I figured I'd just kind of show you some of the differences in them and why I think they're so popular. All right, so here is just kind of a quick pan of some of the differences in the RAV4s. We've got, I think, about 10 of them or so right now on the property. We've got a couple that are out back, including, I think, possibly like a 13, so an older body style. But most of the ones we get here are going to be like 15s through 17s, which is the body style like you see here with these 2 white ones at the end. And then now that there's been enough time where we are getting the 19s and 20s on the lot, you can see right over here we've got a couple. I think we have a couple more as well, but we do have at least 2 of the newer body style. You can kind of see that the older body style is a little bit more subdued. Definitely has kind of a modern flair. You can see everything has got, you know, some flat ends, like the headlights here are kind of flat across the front. It's got, you know, pretty good kind of an angular design going on with things. But then what they've done with the newer body styles, they've definitely kind of beefed them up and made them look, I guess, a little bit less like a soccer mom vehicle and a little bit more kind of rugged and outdoorsy. You can kind of see the big differences here with the fenders. They have a much more defined fender arch. You know, in the old ones, they were just very rounded, very form-fitting. They look good, but with the newer body style, they've definitely kind of almost given it like a Subaru Crosstrek kind of a look, just with a little bit of the extra cladding and things like that. One of the other differences, the big differences that they've made, especially within the hybrid range, and you can see we've got some of the hybrids down here in the older body style, is with the previous body style, the hybrids we're getting in like the mid 30s on average, you know, kind of averaging I think like 32 all around. Here's a hybrid limited currently, but with the newer hybrids, it's apparently the same design. I guess they just reconfigured how probably the hybrid system works. But the hybrid systems in the 2019s and 2020s actually get like around 40 or sometimes even 40 plus miles per gallon. And that's actually really good, especially in like the all-wheel drive SUVs. So that's a really strong selling point of the hybrids and the newer ones, outside of just maybe the styling cues. Now I'll show you kind of some of the different ways you can get things. You've got, you know, the SE, which is kind of the sport. You've got the LE, which is kind of like the base model. You've got XLE, which is where you start to get some of the stuff like sunroof and more technology. And then of course you've got the limited, and you've got stuff like the hybrid limited. Now this one looks like it's got kind of like a pearl paint going on, but you've got a bunch of different interior options as well. So obviously one of the more common things is to just have like a black or a tan colored cloth interior. So that's a really common setup on these. The other options, and obviously we're looking at, I think, a 17 and an 18 here, is you do have a leather option. This one's actually a really cool leather option because you can see it's got like a nice two-tone. Even the front seats, you can see there's a pattern here on the center versus on the sides. We'll show you the front seats here. Really cool pattern design here. I like the two-tone. I like the kind of it is kind of more like a gray. I wouldn't necessarily call it a tan, but it's a nice setup on these. And as we look inside here, this one's one of the limiteds. You can see you've got a leather wrap dash. You've got the more modern, larger touchscreen, which just helps for your backup camera. Of course, it's got Sirius, and I think this does have the phone mirroring, if I'm not mistaken. I think 18 and up is when they started that. Of course, you've got the sunroof, and you've got some really nice modern tech features here as well, like the Toyota Smart Cruise, as well as the lane keep assist, you know, power rear door, stuff like that. But probably one of my favorite things about the difference in the 2 generations, and this is kind of maybe the dork in me, I guess, is I am actually just a really huge fan of the kind of moonstone interior that they have for the new ones. So I'll show you. This is one of the new body styles with the black interior, and it looks good, but you can see it's got this really kind of a neat pattern with all these different lines going on here. And where that really shines is when we look over here at this XLE. So this one has that same kind of two-tone that the leather option had, but you can see now we have it with cloth. And instead of it being a black and tan, it's like a gray and tan, or gray and cream. I don't know what you call this, but this looks so sweet. And that kind of cross stitching, that stars, those lines, whatever you want to call them, They carry over on a few more features, like you can see here on the door. And then it's just kind of carried over like inside the cup holders where the grips are down there, even like the little coin pocket or whatever you want to call it here. And this is just another good example of how they're trying to rebrand these RAV4s to being a little bit more of like a, you know, more capable SUV, because now you have all these off-road controls down here, so you can do all these, you know, a little bit more serious tuning of the suspension and the drivetrain, things like that as well. And then of course you've got the more upright display on here. It's a little bit bigger than the previous models. You still have leather across the dash, but I just am a really huge fan of these seats. It definitely kind of has a NASA or a moon rover kind of design. I think it's kind of cool that they're doing that even with the new Hummer. So everybody's kind of picking up on that kind of space age design. But I think one of the other just real big popular things about all of these RAV4s is, while this is generally one of the smaller, really it is the smallest SUV that Toyota has, you still have plenty of room. So we'll be back in the 2017 here. So you can see as I jump in, I am a 6'3" guy, and I have tons of room, and I can even recline this seat back in the second row here. But these have a ton of space. That's what makes them really popular with starting families that have to worry about car seats and things like that. And of course, you know, for anybody that's used to driving a smaller sedan, it's just nice to have a little bit more room in here. You even have contours on the roof to kind of allow for more headroom. So it's just a really good cabin space in here. All right, so again, that's just a very quick look at some of these. I know we've kind of popped in and out of a few here, but I figured I'd at least kind of walk around and show you some of the main key differences between maybe looking at like a 16 through 18, or maybe even the 19s and 20s. Now, of course, there's tons of other differences, like, you know, like wheels, paint colors, things like that, but the Toyota lineup isn't too complicated. So if there was something that you liked in this setup, obviously go ahead and let me know. Or if you've got questions about maybe looking at one, I'd be more than happy to set you up an appointment. But as always, thanks so much and have a great day.